President Yoon embarks on trips to Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan as part of his K-Silk Road project that focuses on energy and resources cooperation. South Korea has resumed its loudspeaker campaigns along the inter-Korean border in the wake of Pyongyang sending hundreds of more trash-filled balloons into the south over the weekend. North Korea's Kim Yo-jong, the sister of the regime's leader, also renewed her threats against Seoul. Community doctors are set to stage a one-day strike next Tuesday amid the prolonged medical dispute. In response, the government is mandating them to continue their duties. It's June 10th, 2024. This is Newscenter. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. President Yoon has departed for 3 Central Asian countries, with the first stop being Turkmenistan. He hopes to further promote partnerships on energy and resources under his proposal for a K-Silk Road initiative. Our presidential office correspondent Woo Soo-young starts us off.
President Yoon will seek to secure energy and resources cooperation during his state visits to 3 Central Asian countries, embarking on his new K-Silk Road initiative. The South Korean leader on Monday starts his first overseas trip this year with a state visit to Turkmenistan, the world's 4th largest holder of natural gas reserves. Upon arriving in Ashgabat, President Yoon will hold a summit meeting with President Serdar Berdimuhamedow, followed by an MOU signing ceremony and a joint press conference. With bilateral trade at a modest $70 million last year, Yoon's visit will focus on establishing a foundation for more business activities and cooperation on areas like transportation and infrastructure.
President Yoon will engage in deep discussions with Turkmen leaders on elevating bilateral cooperation to a new level, particularly in energy and plant sectors, as well as exploring new areas of cooperation such as shipbuilding, healthcare and education.
Yoon will also hold a separate meeting and luncheon with Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, the former Turkmen president and People's Council chairman, on Tuesday, before attending a business forum. The South Korean leader will then travel to Kazakhstan and head to Uzbekistan on Thursday for top-level talks and business deals. The 3-nation tour comes as the Yoon administration launched its K-Silk Road initiative last week to engage 5 Central Asian countries, including Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, aiming to strengthen South Korea's resource security, expand official development assistance to the region, and increase human and cultural exchanges, along with cooperation between governments, businesses, and citizens.
The combined area of these 5 nations spans 3.55 million square kilometres, over 15 times the size of the Korean peninsula, and their population of 80 million presents a promising consumer market. Their abundant reserves of oil, gas and critical minerals make them key partners for advanced industrial collaboration with South Korea.
Yoon's office says its 3rd regional strategy to date will become a milestone in elevating Korea-Central Asia relations, expanding Seoul's diplomatic network and cooperation as it looks to become a global pivotal state. Woo Soo-young, Arirang News.
Loudspeaker broadcasts on the border of the 2 Koreas have resumed for the first time in around 6 years in response to the North's fresh round of trash balloon campaign this past weekend. Pyongyang appears to be planning a tit-for-tat move as well. Our defense correspondent Choi Min-jung has the latest.
Tensions are reaching new heights on the Korean peninsula. South Korea's military on Monday detected signs of North Korea installing loudspeakers near the inter-Korean border. The move comes after the South Korean military reactivated its loudspeaker campaigns on Sunday for the first time in 6 years against North Korea's continued trash-carrying balloon deliveries. The South Korean military reportedly aired anti-Pyongyang messages for around 2 hours on Sunday afternoon and played K-pop songs such as Dynamite and Butter by BTS. In a press briefing, the military said preparations are in place for such broadcasts whenever necessary, but added that it has no plans to broadcast on Monday.
Our military is conducting operations flexibly in line with the strategic and operational condition.
Bruce Bennett, adjunct defense researcher at the nonprofit global policy think tank RAND Corporation, says that Kim Jong-un would not want elite families in the capital hearing the broadcasts.
And it's important to remember that many of the soldiers in the forward area are from the elite Songbun. They're people who are from the elites out of Pyongyang, children of elites. So reaching them is something which the North is really not going to like, as they demonstrated in 2015. In 2015, they were willing to come to the negotiating table over it. Now they seem to want to simply escalate.
The North's loudspeaker installations could be seen as a tit-for-tat move, as the sister of North Korea's leader Kim Yo-jong on Sunday threatened that there would be new responses if South Korea continued to engage in loudspeaker provocations and the sending of anti-Pyongyang leaflets. North Korea also sent additional trash-carrying balloons late Sunday after the resumption of the broadcast from the south. Around 310 balloons were detected by the military from Sunday night to Monday morning. The loudspeaker campaigns were officially suspended in 2018 as part of an inter-Korean military agreement to diffuse tensions along the border. The last broadcast aired by South Korea was in 2016 as a response to the North's fourth nuclear test. Choi Min-jang, Arirang News.
Amid escalating tensions on the Korean peninsula, officials from South Korea and the U.S. held a third round of nuclear consultative group meetings on Monday here in Seoul and discussed ways to counter North Korea's evolving nuclear threats. The group was first established last year when the leaders of the two countries met in Washington and laid out plans to bolster extended deterrence against North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. Monday's meeting was led by South Korea's Deputy Defense Minister for Policy Cho Chang-le and the U.S. Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space Policy Arirang. The two sides reviewed developments over the past year in areas such as consultation procedures in case of a nuclear crisis, as well as conventional and nuclear integration capabilities. Russian President Vladimir Putin plans to visit North Korea and Vietnam as early as this month. If Putin does head to Pyongyang, it would be his first visit to North Korea in 24 years. Our Kim Bo-young has more on what could be on the agenda amid geopolitical tensions.
Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit North Korea and Vietnam in the next few weeks. That's according to Russian daily newspaper Vedomosti on Monday. Citing a diplomatic source, the report said that Putin's visit to Vietnam will take place as early as June, most likely immediately after his visit to North Korea. It was quoted the Russian ambassador to North Korea who said that Putin's visit to Pyongyang will happen and is actively being prepared. There have been indicators that Putin will visit North Korea, as there have been many high-level exchanges between the two over the recent months. A Kremlin spokesperson, too, had already said preparations for Putin's possible trip to the north were proceeding at their own pace. This comes after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited Russia last September, touring the Vostochny Space Launch Center and holding talks with Putin. Ever since their summit, ties have been deepening between North Korea and Russia, with suspected arms transfers from Pyongyang to Moscow to be used in the war in Ukraine in exchange for Russia's assistance in advanced military technologies. If Putin does make a reciprocal visit to North Korea as early as June, it will mark his first in 24 years since July 2000, and it would be just around a month after Putin's two-day visit to China, which took place from the 15th to 16th of last month. One expert says Russia's assistance to North Korea for its economic development could be on the agenda.
In terms of political and military-related issues, they could try to boost bilateral ties in the new Cold War scene, and the rest could be about Russia's economic assistance or cooperation with the regime, involving the dispatch of North Korean workers, energy and food, because Pyongyang needs Moscow's help for economic development.
As for Vietnam, Putin agreed to visit Hanoi while talking over the phone with Vietnam Communist Party Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong this March. His last official visit to Vietnam was in November 2013. Kim Bo-young, Arirang News.
Doctors here in Korea are set to stage a strike next Tuesday. The government, in response, is mandating private practitioners to remain available for services on that day. Park Go-nu reports.
South Korea's health ministry said on Monday it has decided to order private practitioners to keep treating patients and report if they will not be on duty based on the medical laws. That's a response to the doctors' decision to conduct a general strike next week. The Health Ministry also said it would review whether the Korea Medical Association has been violating the Fair Trade Act by encouraging doctors to participate in collective action. Doctors affiliated to the KMA announced on Sunday that they will halt medical services on June 18 and hold a general rally with 140,000 members and medical students that day. That was decided after a vote last week, which was participated in by more than 60% of KMA members. When asked about whether one would participate in the walkout in June, over 70% voted yes, which a KMA official said was an overwhelming result. The Emergency Committee of Professors at Seoul Medical University and Seoul National University Hospital has also decided to stop outpatient services and surgery starting next Monday. Amid doctors announcing these plans for a general walkout, the government gave its stance on Sunday.
These actions are not just a huge burden on the emergency care system, but they also leave a deep scar on our whole society. The government will try to persuade the medical community right to the last minute to prevent a general strike, and will put all efforts into minimizing medical gaps.
The government once again promised that it would not punish junior doctors who return to work. Park Go-nu, Arirang News.
A ceremony commemorating South Korea's June 10 pro-democracy movement, which took place 37 years ago, was held today at Seoul City Hall. Some 300 people, including government officials, political party leaders, and those with associations to the movement, attended the ceremony. On June 10, 1987, South Korean citizens held pro-democracy protests nationwide, prompted by police violence as well as the then military regime's announcement that the next president would be chosen by an indirect election. The democratic struggle eventually led to a constitutional amendment that secured the election of a president by a direct vote of the people. An Israeli operation to rescue 4 hostages has killed and injured hundreds in Gaza. Yoon has more.
On Saturday, the Israeli military rescued 4 hostages from the Gaza's Al-Nusayrat camp, which, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, killed at least 274 Palestinians, including 57 women and 64 children, while wounding at least another 600. The death toll is the highest reported in a 24-hour period since the outbreak of the war in Gaza. Israel Defense Forces Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said the latest operation had been planned for weeks, with the unusual daytime raid intended to create a greater element of surprise despite the greater associated risks. The Israeli military said that a special forces officer was killed during an exchange of fire. According to Hamas, 3 other hostages, including one with U.S. citizenship, were also killed in the raid. Meanwhile, on Sunday, Israeli Minister Benny Gantz announced his resignation from Israel's 3-man emergency war cabinet. Last month, Gantz had set a June 8 deadline to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to come up with a clear post-war strategy, which the Prime Minister had brushed off. And following the rescue operation on Saturday, Gantz delayed his decision by just a day.
Unfortunately, Netanyahu prevents us from progressing to the real victory, which is the justification for the painful and ongoing price. That is why we are leaving the wartime cabinet today, with a heavy heart, but with a whole heart.
While Gantz's departure would not pose an immediate threat to the Israeli government, it may leave Netanyahu more reliant on his far-right coalition, who stand against the latest U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal. This suggests there's no end in sight for the ongoing Gaza war, which has killed over 36,700 Palestinians. Yoon, Arirang News.
Also on the international front, a Ukrainian attack aircraft fired a weapon that struck a target inside Russia for the first time since the war broke out between Kyiv and Moscow following Russia's invasion. According to UK's Sky News, the Ukrainian Air Force hit a Russian command node on Sunday in the area of Belgorod, western Russia. A military source said that while damage assessment is still occurring, it is confirmed as a direct hit, and this is the first use of a Ukrainian Air Force's air-delivered munition against a target within Russia. The news agency says this could be seen as an escalation by Moscow. Back here at home, today is what's referred to as Dano, one of the major traditional celebrations in South Korea. In the city of Gangneung, the celebration takes place on a big scale, keeping alive many ancient traditions from sacred events to sports. Our Yoon, he brings us the significance of the festival and what fun is there to enjoy.
Dano is the day when villagers in Korea would gather to seek blessings for a fruitful harvest. Although this custom has faded in modern society, it's kept alive thanks to the Gangneung Danoje Festival. It's held annually in the city of Gangneung in Gangwon State, and in 2005, the festival was designated by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Also called Surin날, Dano falls on the 5th day of the 5th month of the lunar Korean calendar. In 2024, under the theme Soar Dano, the festival runs from June 6th to June 13th for 8 days, offering a wide range of traditional events including performances, rituals, and plays.
These combined traditions transform the festival into a lively celebration where local residents come together for a joyful feast and festivities.
One of the festival's most renowned traditions is the Gov't, or shamanic rituals.
It's interesting to see different performances every hour that align with its designated theme.
Around 20 rituals are performed, including ones honoring the guardian deities of Gangneung. Each prayer offers a distinct purpose, ranging from blessings for a bountiful harvest to ensuring the health of loved ones. Alongside the diverse programs, there is also the largest market in the country. The Korean term nanjang, meaning place of chaos, is used to describe the marketplace, where not only food and goods are sold, but folk costumes can be enjoyed, such as traditional performances or plays like the swings. Another tradition enjoyed at the festival is shirum, or traditional Korean wrestling, which is a significant part of Korean culture. The Gangneung Danoje Festival this year is full of experiential events for visitors to enjoy. With 64 events to explore, the festival offers a chance to experience the essence of Korean traditional culture. Yoon, Arirang News, Gangneung.
It is time to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. Joining us in the studio is our sports editor, Paul Need. Welcome back, Paul.
Hello there, thank you.
Let's first start with football. South Korea's men's team are in action tomorrow night against China.
Yes, they are. It is their last qualifying match of this second round of qualification. It's at home at Seoul World Cup Stadium with an 8 p.m. kickoff. And Kim Do-hoon is in charge of the team, another caretaker manager. He oversaw a 7-0 win over Singapore on Thursday, a match that saw a first goal for veteran striker Ju Min-gyu and a goal for Bae Jun-ho on his debut. Son Heung-min and Lee Kang-in both bagged braces, and Hwang Hee-chan capped off the night with a goal off the bench late on. The win and China's draw with Thailand means that Korea sit 5 points clear at the top of Group C, already with a place in the next phase secured. But manager Kim Do-hoon wants to finish with another win in front of what will be a very big crowd at Sangam. When the two teams met last November in Shenzhen, Korea sealed a 3-0 win.
Moving on to baseball now, I understand Lee Jung-hoo's shoulder surgery has gone well.
Yes, his father has said so himself, actually. Lee Jung-bom, a baseball legend in his own right, said on Thursday that his son is resting at home after his surgery had gone well a couple of days before. Lee Sr. was speaking at a Korean community event in San Francisco and said that his son will go to LA on Thursday this week to get his shoulder looked at again. Lee Jung-hoo tore his left labrum after hitting the outfield wall in a game on May 12th. His team, the San Francisco Giants, have said that he will be out for 6 months. This rules him out of the rest of the season, his first in MLB after 7 in the KBO.
And moving on to golf now. Korea has enjoyed something of a golden period for women golfers, but they're in a bit of a drought at the moment.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's been 14 events now without a win for a South Korean golfer. That's the second longest run since the year 2000. That year, Grace Park won the 16th tournament of that season. But at the most recent event, the ShopRite LPGA Classic in New Jersey on Sunday, An Na-in was South Korea's highest-ranked player. She finished tied for 6th at 10 under 203. It was her second top 10 finish of the current LPGA season. Linnea Ström of Sweden was the winner at 14 under par. She also set the lowest final round score by an LPGA event winner, beating a record that was set by Pagin B at the Manulife Financial LPGA Classic back in 2014. Up next in LPGA is the Mayor Classic starting this Thursday in Belmont, Michigan.
And just quickly sticking with golf in the men's game, Im Sung-jae recorded another top 10 finish.
Yes, his second in as many events that he entered. At the PGA Memorial Tournament on Sunday, Im finished tied for 8th at 1 under par. This came after a 9th place finish at the Charles Schwab at the end of May. There are now just 2 events left for Im until the Paris Olympics.
All right, thanks, Paul. See you next week.
Thank you.
Today, as the heat continues throughout the day, the first heat wave warning of the year has been issued in some parts of the Gyeongsang-do provinces and surrounding areas, including Daegu, Ulsan, and Gyeongju. Summer heat of around 33 degrees was seen during the daytime. The weather is forecast to be even hotter tomorrow. Seoul will soar up to 31 degrees, and summer heat as hot as the beginning of August will continue. Daegu will rise to 34 degrees with a heat wave warning. For the rest of the week, the weather will be similar to or hotter than today. Please take care of yourself. Tomorrow morning temperatures will be around 20 degrees nationwide. It will be topping out at 34 degrees in Daegu, Gyeongju 35 degrees. The temperature is expected to be 32 degrees in the middle of the day in Seoul on Thursday and Friday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session up next.